Welcome to Catholic News World.
Welcome to Catholic News World. Please subscribe to our channel. My name is Steph. Here are this week's breaking news headlines.
On January 12, 2026, President Donald Trump held a private meeting with Archbishop Paul Coakley of Oklahoma City, the newly elected president of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, or USCCB. The introductory meeting, which included Vice President J.D. Vance and other administration officials, focused on establishing a dialogue regarding areas of mutual concern. Archbishop Coakley voiced his concerns in a recent December interview with Face the Nation, where he said of Trump, "I think we have opportunities to work together. We have opportunities to speak frankly with one another." The official Facebook page of the U.S. bishops wrote, Archbishop Coakley had the opportunity for introductory meetings with President Trump, Vice President Vance, and other administration officials in which they discussed areas of mutual concern as well as areas for further dialogue. Archbishop Coakley is grateful for the engagement and looks forward to ongoing discussions, they said. The meeting served as an introductory session for Archbishop Coakley, who was just elected president of the bishops in November 2025. Private meetings between the USCCB president and the U.S. president are not guaranteed. Coakley's predecessor, Archbishop Timothy Broglio, did not meet with either President Biden nor President Trump during his term. The meeting occurs amidst a complex relationship between the Catholic Church and the Trump administration. The bishops recently issued a special pastoral message, their first since 2013, opposing indiscriminate mass deportations and dehumanizing rhetoric, citing concerns over religious liberty and the ability to provide charitable care. The bishops recently defended the Hyde Amendment, which bans federal funding for elective abortions, after President Trump suggested House Republicans should be flexible on the policy during healthcare negotiations. The bishops have, at times, commended the administration's stances on gender policy and specific religious freedom protections. However, the U.S. Bishops' Conference continues to maintain a stance against the death penalty, a point of frequent disagreement with the administration's policies. Following the meeting, Archbishop Coakley posted photos and wrote, Monday, I had the opportunity to meet with President Donald Trump and also Vice President J.D. Vance, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and their wives. The meeting served as an introduction as well as an opening to further conversations on topics of mutual concern, which will hopefully carry forward. I appreciate the opportunity and welcome the potential for ongoing productive conversations.
Please subscribe to our channel.
The capture of President Nicolas Maduro following U.S. strikes in Venezuela on January 3, 2026, by the military of President Donald Trump has caused much alarm globally. During a brief court appearance in New York, ousted Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, each pleaded not guilty to narco-terrorism, drug trafficking, and weapons charges. Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez has been sworn in as the country's interim president following an emergency ruling by its Supreme Court. Initially calling ousted President Nicolas Maduro's capture a violation of international law, Rodriguez is now offering to cooperate with U.S. President Donald Trump on the next steps for Venezuela's government. Pope Leo XIV reacted to the Venezuelan attack following the Angelus prayer on January 4th, saying, "It is with deep concern that I am following the developments in Venezuela. The good of the beloved Venezuelan people must prevail over every other consideration. His must lead to the overcoming of violence and to the pursuit of paths of justice and peace, guaranteeing the sovereignty of the country, ensuring the rule of law enshrined in its constitution, respecting the human and civil rights of each and every person, and working together to build a peaceful future of cooperation, stability, and harmony, with special attention to the poorest who are suffering because of the difficult economic situation. I pray for all this, and I invite you to pray too," the Pope said. On January 6th, the government released that America's Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, spoke with His Eminence Cardinal Pietro Parolin, Secretary of State of the Holy See. Parolin was the former nuncio to Venezuela from 2009 to 2013. The statement said, Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke today with His Eminence Cardinal Pietro Parolin, Secretary of State of the Holy See. The two leaders discussed pressing challenges including efforts to improve the humanitarian situation, particularly in Venezuela, as well as the promotion of peace and religious freedom globally. Secretary Rubio and Cardinal Parolin reaffirmed their commitment to deepening cooperation between the United States and the Holy See in addressing shared priorities around the world, the statement concluded. The Venezuelan Bishops' Conference issued a prayer for the people to recite for peace. They wrote, "In light of the events unfolding in our country, let us ask God to grant all Venezuelans serenity, wisdom, and strength. We stand in solidarity with those who were injured and the families of those who died. Let us persevere in prayer for the unity of our people. We call upon the people of God to live more intensely the hope and fervent prayer for peace in our hearts and in society. May our hands be open for encounter and mutual support. And may the decisions we make always be for the well-being of our people. May Our Lady of Coromoto accompany us on our journey."
Please subscribe to our channel.
On January 6th, Pope Leo XIV closed the last holy door in St. Peter's Basilica, ending the 2025 Extraordinary Jubilee of Hope. On January 16th, in a special rite, the same holy door was officially sealed. The Pope issued a decree to proclaim a new special Franciscan Jubilee year to honor St. Francis of Assisi. It is the 800th anniversary of the passing of St. Francis in 1226, and the new Jubilee has officially begun with a solemn ceremony at the Basilica of Santa Maria degli Angeli in Porziuncola. The Jubilee officially opened on January 10, 2026, and will conclude on January 10, 2027. The Pope has instituted this year to encourage the faithful to follow St. Francis's example of holiness and to act as tireless witnesses of peace in an age often defined by division. The Apostolic Penitentiary has granted a plenary indulgence to those who participate in the Jubilee. This grace is extended to any member of the faithful who makes a pilgrimage to a Franciscan church or place of worship dedicated to St. Francis anywhere in the world. The sick and elderly, unable to travel, who participate spiritually from home by offering their prayers and sufferings. The commemorative year began in the very place where St. Francis concluded his earthly journey. In a message to the Franciscan family, Pope Leo emphasized that peace is a gift from God that cannot be built by human effort alone, urging a return to the spiritual legacy of St. Francis. During the service, leaders of the Franciscan orders reflected on 6 key themes from the Saint's Testament, which serve as a roadmap for the Jubilee year. Mercy, reaching out to those with painful wounds in body and spirit. Prayer, recognizing the presence of the mystery in the Church and the world. Fraternity, seeing every creature as a reflection of God's love. Work, viewing labor as a grace and a fulfillment of a worthy life. Peace, finding the courage for forgiveness and reconciliation. Blessing, embracing sister death with a free and humble heart. This extraordinary Jubilee year serves as a spiritual continuation of the ordinary Jubilee of 2025, focusing the world's attention on Assisi's message of universal brotherhood. A special prayer of Pope Leo XIV to St. Francis was released. It says, "St. Francis, our brother, you who 800 years ago went to meet Sister Death as a man at peace, intercede for us before the Lord. You recognize true peace in the crucifix of San Damiano. Teach us to seek in him the source of all reconciliation that breaks down every wall. You who unarmed crossed the lines of war and misunderstanding, give us the courage to build bridges where the world raises up boundaries. In this time afflicted by conflict and division, intercede for us so that we may become peacemakers, unarmed and disarming witnesses of the peace that comes from Christ. Amen."
Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to Catholic News World's channel. God bless.